My husband Ethan had an accident and lost his memory. He doesn't remember that I'm pregnant. He only calls his white moonlight Zara wife. He and Zara flaunt their love in front of me, even joking about divorcing me to marry Zara. As he wished, I signed the divorce agreement and went to the hospital to terminate the pregnancy. 3 months later, Ethan knocked on my door late at night. He stared at my flat stomach and asked in a panic, "Where is our child?" I laughed. "Since I've divorced you, why would I keep the child and delay my chance to remarry?" My husband Ethan is the one who left me for a prenatal checkup to pick up his first love Zara, who had an accident. It wasn't serious, just a cut on her forehead. I heard that he rushed to the hospital in a panic after the accident, only to see him holding Zara's hand, deeply expressing his feelings to her. I called his name, and Ethan turned to look at me with a puzzled expression. "Who are you?" Ethan has lost his memory. He remembers everyone except for me, his pregnant wife. I don't want Ethan to forget me, and I'm trying every possible way to help him regain his memory. However, Ethan is very resistant to me. He only remembers his first love Zara and spends every day glued to her. I thought Ethan had forgotten me due to amnesia, and that once he regained his memory, he would remember me as his wife and that I was carrying our child. In order to help Ethan regain his memory, I disregarded my morning sickness and ran to various hospitals every day, searching for specialists to treat him. I also made him delicious meals every day, changing things up to entice him. Until that morning, when I went to bring Ethan the soup I had made, I accidentally overheard a conversation between Zara and her friend. Ethan had not lost his memory at all, he was just tired of Nancy. He wanted a divorce to be with me, but divorce was complicated and involved dividing assets. Nancy loved him so much that she would definitely not agree, so Ethan came up with this plan to pretend to have amnesia to make Nancy realize and voluntarily step back. Zara's best friend exclaimed, "But isn't Nancy pregnant? She loves Ethan so much, she will definitely have this child. If they have a child, they can't possibly get divorced, right? The child must be born by Nancy because I can't have children." Zara touched her belly. "You know the Shin family can't be without an heir, so Ethan and I discussed letting Nancy have the baby first. Once Nancy gives birth, that's when she will be kicked out of the Shin family." I heard their conversation as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. I braced myself against the wall to avoid falling, as Zara continued to tell her friend about Ethan secretly meeting with her over the years while being affectionate behind my back. It was then that I realized Ethan and Zara had rekindled their old flame long ago. Before Zara and her husband divorced, Ethan had secretly met with Zara a few times abroad. After Zara's divorce, he had no more scruples and wanted to make Zara official. Unfortunately, Zara cannot bear children. And the Shin family needs an heir, which is why he made me pregnant. The truth is bloody and painful to the extreme. My love for Ethan stemmed from a moment of infatuation. During college, I was working my way through school when I was harassed by a foreigner, and it was Ethan who came to my rescue. The hero saving the beauty is the best breeding ground for love, and I uncontrollably fell for Ethan. In fact, before I married Ethan, the Shin family had already fallen from grace, and Ethan's first love, Zara, abandoned him for another man and went abroad. I had heard of Ethan's love for Zara, but at that time, I thought since Zara had actively given up on Ethan to marry someone else, she would no longer have any connection with him. I was confident that I could make Ethan like me, so I pursued him. I accompanied Ethan through the hardest 3 years of his life, during which the Shin family was weathering storms and on the brink of collapse. I desperately accompanied clients for drinks to secure orders, to the point of causing gastric bleeding. The turnaround of the Shin family company was inseparable from my efforts, and later, the Shin family began to get back on track. Ethan and I grew closer. He would smile at me, watch movies with me, and even give me flowers. I thought he had moved on from Zara and started to love me. After Ethan proposed to me, I accepted. After marriage, we were considered affectionate, and I devoted myself to him. I tolerated all of Ethan's flaws. Everyone in the circle knew that I, Nancy, loved Ethan selflessly and would do anything for him. But I also have my limits. If I find out that Ethan has never let go of Zara, that he has been secretly in contact with her even after our marriage. I will never accept it, no matter what. I sat on the bench, flipping through Zara's past. Just as Zara and her best friend said, she and Ethan have never truly ended things. Even on the day of my wedding to Ethan, he sent a message to Zara. He would send gifts on Zara's birthday and arrange for flowers to be delivered to her place abroad on Valentine's Day. He would visit Zara during business trips to have dinner with her and go out for fun. In the 3 years I thought I was happy, there were traces of Ethan's love for Zara everywhere. Sadly, Ethan hid it well, and I was completely unaware. After 3 years of heartfelt devotion, I became the biggest joke. I sat alone on the street for 3 hours, going through all the past connections between Zara and Ethan. Just as I was preparing to withdraw, I saw Zara's latest Facebook post. "Thank you for still knowing my preferences after all these years. Being loved feels so good." The background is the kitchen of the house Ethan and I are supposed to share, with Ethan holding a knife, chopping vegetables. In the 3 years of our marriage, when has he ever stepped into the kitchen? It was always me who carefully prepared the meals. Even when I was sick, he never brought me a glass of water or cooked a bowl of porridge. And now, Ethan has brought Zara back to our marital home and even cooked for her himself. The love and the lack of it are already clear. I stared at Zara's Facebook for a long time, finally making up my mind. I don't want this man anymore. No matter how much I once loved him, I don't want him. I want to cut off my love for Ethan like removing a tumor. It was already evening when I got home. The lights were on, and as I pushed the door open, I heard Zara's delicate voice. "It hurts. Ethan, be gentle." I stood at the entrance, looking at the 2 people on the living room sofa. Zara was leaning against Ethan, pitifully raising her hand. Ethan was tenderly applying medicine to her, completely unaware of my return home. In the world of love, there is no room for a third person, and it is clear that I am that third person. After Ethan helped Zara tend to her wound, she deliberately lunged forward and, by coincidence, kissed him on the cheek. Ethan did not push her away. It was obvious he enjoyed this intimate contact. Zara cast a provocative glance towards the entrance, and this blatant provocation was utterly disgusting. I no longer stood at the entrance but slammed the door shut. Hearing the sound of the door, Ethan turned his head and saw me, his expression momentarily frozen. He quickly pushed Zara away and explained, "Gigi broke a dish while washing the dishes, and her hand got cut by the shards. I was helping her. No need to explain. After all, the person you love is Miss Lee. It's perfectly normal to do intimate things with her." I interrupted Ethan directly. I wasn't here to accuse him, but his expression was very stiff. A triumphant expression flashed in Zara's eyes as she leaned pitifully against Ethan. "Ethan, you should clarify things with Nancy." And Ethan gently patted Zara's shoulder in front of me, saying softly, "I'll talk to her, don't worry." Although I had decided to give up on Ethan, this scene still made my eyes a little sore. I endured the discomfort and took the initiative to say, "Ethan, I have something to tell you." Ethan let go of Zara. "I have something to say to you too." He affectionately told Zara, "You go wait outside first, I need to talk to Nancy. Be a good girl." Zara reluctantly released Ethan's hand, and as she left, she provocatively glanced at me. I sat down in front of Ethan, and before I could say anything, Ethan interrupted me. "Nancy, let's get a divorce." His speech was very fast. "I don't remember you, which means you are not an important person in my life. Since that's the case, we have no need to be tied together. The person I love is Gigi, and I want to marry Gigi, so we must get a divorce." Ethan told me directly about the divorce, which is also what I wanted to say to him. But I don't know why, my heart still hurts so much. The pain reached its peak, and I exhaled softly, uttering a single word, "Okay." The next morning, I went to the obstetrics and gynecology department and made an appointment for the surgery. The surgery was quick. After the anesthesia, I felt no pain at all. When I woke up after the anesthesia wore off, I was already lying in the hospital room. After resting in the hospital for 4 hours, I unexpectedly ran into Ethan and Zara when I was leaving. Zara was leaning against Ethan like a rag doll, and Ethan was holding a bag of medicine in his hand. I saw Zara sweetly calling out to me, "Nancy." I ignored Zara and didn't even glance at Ethan, walking straight ahead without looking back. Ethan blocked my way and asked unhappily, "What are you doing here? Following me?" "I already told you, I don't remember you. What's the point of all this? Can't you just stay at home?" Ever since Ethan lost his memory, I've been following him every day, trying to make him remember me. Little did I know, Ethan even came up with a lie like amnesia just to get rid of me. Thinking about how I used to worry about him and couldn't sleep well for nights, I found it utterly ridiculous. "It's meaningless, from now on, I'll take a detour when I see you. That should be enough, right?" My tone was cold, and Ethan was clearly taken aback. His gaze fell on the medicine in my hand. His expression changed. "Are you sick? What illness?" "We're about to get a divorce, what does it have to do with you? Aren't you pregnant?" Zara, worried that Ethan might say something inappropriate, quickly grabbed his arm to interrupt him. "Ethan, my stomach hurts." Seeing the worried expression on Zara's face, Ethan gave up on his questioning and half embraced, half supported Zara as they left. After leaving the hospital, I contacted a postpartum care center to prepare for proper rest. Before going to the center, I returned to the house that Ethan and I shared. This was our marital home. It was a place we bought together, and I personally designed and decorated it. I chased after Ethan for 3 years, and after marrying him, I foolishly loved him for another 3 years, pouring 3 years of infatuation into him. Now everything has returned to the starting point, and this place that once filled me with love now makes me feel disgusted. I quickly packed my clothes and went downstairs with my suitcase to leave. Before I left, I took off my wedding ring and placed it on the coffee table. I received Ethan's call again 3 days later. I was lying in the spacious and bright room of the postpartum care center, calmly answering, "Hello? Where are you? If you have something to say, just say it." Seemingly not expecting my indifference, Ethan paused for a moment before saying, "Nancy, come over to sign the divorce agreement." "Sure. Where shall we meet?" "At home." "I'm over there now." I simply replied with a good and took a taxi back to the marital home. Ethan was alone, unusually without Zara. When I walked in, Ethan was sitting in the living room, with the divorce agreement placed on the coffee table in front of him. His gaze fell on my face, which was pale and bloodless. He frowned slightly. "Why have you lost so much weight? Haven't you been eating well? Or has the child been giving you a hard time again?" I didn't answer as I sat down across from him, reaching out to pick up the divorce agreement. The agreement stated, "The marital home belongs to me, and in addition, I was given a storefront, 2 cars, and 50 million in cash." He took me abroad to meet Zara and gifted her many pieces of jewelry, which amounted to much more than 50 million in cash. I had worked hard alongside him from the beginning, like a housekeeper, exhausting myself for the company, and this is all I got. Ethan's ruthlessness is truly remarkable. I did intend to give up on Ethan, but I am not a fool. I pointed at the divorce agreement. "Can you explain why I only received such a small portion of the assets? Shouldn't a divorce mean splitting the assets in half?" Ethan was taken aback. I had always been indifferent about finances, never having quarreled with him over money. When the company was in dire straits, I worked tirelessly with him, and after it got back on track, Ethan told me to take a break, so I simply went home to take care of him. I have never asked Ethan for a single penny, and the company does not have a single penny of mine in shares. Ethan probably thinks I don't care about money, right? It's not that I don't care about money, it's just that I care too much about him, so I have no defenses. He was silent for a moment. "How much do you intend to ask for?" I said lightly, "You are the one at fault, you cheated on Zara while married. According to normal procedures, shouldn't you be leaving with nothing?" "Nancy, I didn't. You said with your own mouth that you love Zara, and you've been going in and out with her every day, right?" "Ethan, I am still on the marriage certificate with you, I am your legal wife. You may not remember me, and I have nothing to say, but the law does not state it that way. Legally, you are the one at fault." I can make you leave with nothing. Anger flashed across Ethan's face. He probably thought this was my way of trying to keep him. He looked at me coldly. I never expected you to be this kind of person. Is there only money in your eyes? Yes. I don't want much, just half. Convert it to cash for me. Ethan kept a straight face. Fine. As you wish. Ethan had the lawyer modify the divorce agreement, giving me half of the assets, and the marital home still belongs to me. The contract was reprinted, and I signed it without hesitation. While signing, I asked, "Shall we go to the Civil Affairs Bureau now?" Ethan's expression was strange, as if he was confused by my lack of reluctance. He picked up the wedding ring from the coffee table, trying to make conversation. "This is yours, right? Such a valuable item, how can you just leave it at the entrance? What if it gets lost? This is not my thing, it's yours. Now it returns to its rightful owner." I closed the contract and said coldly. Ethan knew very well how much I cherished this wedding ring, and a hint of panic flashed across his face. How could something I gave you possibly be returned? He tried to give me the ring, but I stepped back to avoid it. Now that we are divorced, let's cut ties cleanly and clearly. By the way, the ring on your finger was given by me. Please take it off and return it to me. After we got married, Ethan initially refused to wear the wedding ring I gave him, so I had to persistently and shamelessly put it on his finger myself. I even said I wanted him to wear it for a lifetime, only taking it off when he died. Now I am actually asking him to take off the ring I gave him, which Ethan finds hard to imagine. He stares at me and asks, "Are you sure you want me to take it off?" "Absolutely." I nod. A qualified ex should act as if the other person is dead, and I promise to do just that. Ethan hesitates to take off the ring. "Nancy, what if I regain my memory in the future?" I interrupt him. "You're so eager to get married, is it really necessary to regain your memory?" He looks uncomfortable. "I mean if." I interrupted him once again. "There are no ifs. Give me the ring, and let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau right now." Ethan was reluctant to take off the ring, but I insisted, staring at him. In the end, he couldn't resist me and had to take off the ring. I took it and threw it away in front of Ethan. I saw his pupils constrict, and he clearly didn't look happy. But what was he unhappy about? I divorced him as he wished, allowing him to be with his beloved Zara. He should be laughing heartily and grateful for my sacrifice. His unhappiness was just my illusion. Ethan and I went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to sign the divorce papers. After leaving, we agreed to meet here again in a month to collect the divorce certificate. As soon as I stepped out of the bureau, I called the agent to list our marital home for sale. After Ethan got rid of me, his burden and devoted admirer, he and Zara began their romance without any reservations. Zara's Facebook is filled with sweet details about her and Ethan. Ethan customized a wedding dress for her and a diamond ring that symbolizes a lifetime of love for one person. Their wedding is set for a month later at the best 5-star hotel in the city. I lay in the postpartum care center, calmly watching the content Zara posted. Perhaps I was too angry before, and now I can't even find the feeling of anger. I spent 6 years living a life without myself for Ethan, and from now on, I will live for myself. Once I received the divorce certificate, I began my journey around the world. First, I will enjoy life, and as for other matters, I will deal with them later. I stayed at the confinement center for half a month, during which I did not actively contact Ethan. I didn't know what he was thinking, yet he called and messaged me every few days. It's really strange. In the past, I chased after him every day, and he ignored me. Now that I am not paying attention to him, he has taken the initiative to come closer. At first, Ethan only asked how I was doing, but later, seeing that I was ignoring him, he brought up the child. "Nancy, how is the child doing now?" It's really laughable. He didn't think about the child when he insisted on getting a divorce, but now that we've signed the agreement, he suddenly remembers the child. I originally didn't want to reply, but I thought about how the divorce settlement hadn't come through yet, so I responded, "How are you preparing the divorce money? Can you give it to me now?" I was not the least bit moved by Ethan's goodwill. Instead, mentioning money made him very angry. "It's coming soon, don't worry, I won't shortchange you. The next day, Ethan arranged to meet me to give me the money. I had been recuperating at the postpartum center for half a month, and I looked much better. Ethan visibly relaxed when he saw me. Would you like something to drink? No, didn't you give me money? Where's the money? My impatience was clearly written on my face, and Ethan was not too pleased about it. After all, I had always greeted him with a smile, and I had never been this cold before. He took out a card and handed it to me. I took the card and checked the amount on my mobile banking app. Seeing that I wasn't even looking at him, Ethan took the initiative to speak up. Nancy, are you okay? I'm a bit worried about you. What's there to worry about? It's just, your doctor said you haven't gone for a checkup in 2 weeks. Nancy, is it inconvenient for you to go for a checkup? Do you want me to accompany you? No, I don't need a checkup right now. Ethan didn't know that the baby was gone. Seeing my impatience, he switched to another topic. Is your health okay? Do you want me to help you find a nutritionist? No. You don't need to worry about my matters. By the way, you should find a time to collect your things from the marital home. Are you so eager to make me leave? His expression was somewhat hurt, but how pathetic. When I treated him well, he didn't cherish it, only thinking about Zara. Now that I don't want him anymore, he suddenly starts to reminisce, but unfortunately, I am no longer a trash can. I smiled coldly, offering no explanation, and simply said, yes. Ethan's expression darkened, and after a moment of silence, he said, Nancy, I've been vaguely recalling some things lately. I think my memory can be restored. I looked at him indifferently, and then what? Ethan didn't expect me to be so indifferent, and with a stiff resolve said, if I recover my memory and remember everything between us, He didn't finish his sentence, as Zara suddenly appeared. She pitifully walked up to Ethan and grabbed his hand in front of me. Ethan, why didn't you tell me you were coming out? Do you know how worried I was about you? I thought you didn't want me anymore. My heart hurts so much. I had no interest in watching them show their affection, so I got up and left. Back at the postpartum center, Ethan sent me a message to explain. I directly blocked and deleted him. Half a month passed quickly, and I arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau as promised. Ethan arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau before me and questioned me as soon as he saw me. You blocked me? Why? Why don't you know? I coldly retorted. He looked awkward. I was worried about you. I sent you so many messages and made so many calls. Don't do things like this again. A qualified ex should be like a dead person. I hope you understand. Seeing my attitude, Ethan pressed his lips together tightly. Nancy, I seem to have remembered something these past few days. I interrupted him directly. That's your business. It has nothing to do with me. After saying that, I picked up the divorce certificate and put it in my bag, turning to leave. Ethan followed me out, his gaze falling on my belly. Nancy, the child, our child. I stopped and looked at Ethan with a half smile. The child? Are you sure you really want to know about the child? Of course, although I haven't fully remembered, I do know about your pregnancy, Nancy. Is the child okay? The child. I originally wanted to tell Ethan that the child was gone, but before I could say it, Zara appeared just in time. She grabbed Ethan's hand. Ethan, you promised me to take wedding photos, let's go now. Ethan was pulled away by Zara, looking back 3 times, but unfortunately, I didn't have the time to watch his performance. That night, Zara updated her Facebook with her wedding photos with Ethan. Zara has been updating Facebook very frequently lately, posting dozens of times a day, all about Ethan. Ethan accompanied her for meals, peeled shrimp for her, walked with her, and applied lipstick on her. She was anxiously declaring everything about her and Ethan. Everyone else isn't foolish. I know what her purpose is. It's merely to declare ownership over Ethan to me, to show me how much he loves her and how much he ignores me. I keep Zara's disgusting presence on my Facebook to see what she ultimately intends to do. I'm not a hopeless fool, I just let down all my defenses because I love Ethan. After learning that Zara had rekindled her old flame with Ethan, and after discovering that Ethan was pretending to have amnesia to deceive me, and after Ethan himself proposed divorce to marry Zara, I spent money to investigate everything about Zara. It's quite laughable, the woman Ethan loves so much is not as simple as she appears. Initially, Zara didn't want to suffer alongside Ethan after the Shin family's downfall, so she sought a better option and left him. The man Zara found is a wealthy businessman from Singapore, named Mike. When Zara was with him, he was relatively well off, but Zara's luck was quite poor. When she was with Ethan, his family was on the brink of bankruptcy, and after being with Mike, Mike's career also began to decline. 3 years after Zara married Mike, his career started to go downhill. While Mike's career was faltering, Ethan was slowly rising. After Zara learned that Ethan was doing better, she regretted her decision and began to actively flirt with him. I don't know how she managed to make Ethan let go of his prejudices against her, perhaps it was love. To love someone is to unconditionally accept everything about them, including betrayal and all their flaws. After confirming that Ethan still had feelings for her, Zara felt a sense of confidence. She proposed a divorce to Mike, who had been entangled with her for 3 years, and in the end, Zara got her wish. After the divorce, Zara couldn't wait to find Ethan, and at first, the two of them were just secretly together. Later on, Zara became dissatisfied with such a relationship. She wanted to be Mrs. Ethan and wanted to fully possess Ethan's person and wealth. Ethan wasn't completely heartless, he enjoyed being with Zara, but he also knew he couldn't let anyone take advantage of him, so he didn't show any intention of wanting to marry Zara. So Zara racked her brains for a solution. She had a knack for underhanded tactics and quickly thought of a way to manipulate Ethan. She forged a medical document claiming she was gravely ill and begged Ethan for a wedding before she died, using their love as leverage. Ethan agreed, so she pretended to have amnesia and told him that marrying her would fulfill the dying wish of Zara, who was about to pass away. I looked at the information the private detective gave me and laughed until tears came out. I don't blame myself for being schemed by Zara. I am incredibly grateful to have left Ethan. A man who can only share hardships but not wealth is clearly a poor character. I don't blame Zara, I only blame myself for not recognizing the truth about people and suffering the consequences. The day after the divorce, I posted on Facebook, "Single again. A new life starts today." At noon, I went to my favorite hot pot restaurant. I had been with Ethan for 6 years, and because he didn't like spicy food, I gave up my beloved hot pot. Now that I'm single again, the first thing I want to do is celebrate by eating hot pot. Just as I was about to order and indulge, an unexpected guest arrived. Mike, Zara's husband, took the initiative to introduce himself to me. I looked at him coldly and said, "We don't know each other, what do you want from me?" "I want to talk to you about Zara and Ethan." "I'm not interested." I refused. Ko looked at Zara with hatred. "Nancy, are you really willing to hand Ethan over to that shameless woman Zara?" "You're mistaken, it's not that I'm handing him over, it's that I don't want Ethan anymore. Why should I waste my energy on a man who isn't worth it? Zara is a shameless liar, she abandoned Ethan for me when the Shin family went bankrupt, and later, when my business declined, she started flirting with Ethan again." I impatiently interrupted Mike, "I already know all this, it has nothing to do with me." "How can it have nothing to do with you?" "Nancy, it's not that Ethan doesn't like you, he was just deceived by Zara. Do you know how Zara tricked Ethan into divorcing you?" Mike thought I knew nothing and tried to persuade me. "Zara pretended to be ill, claiming she had cancer and wouldn't live much longer. She used this to deceive Ethan. Ethan believed she was really dying and, out of sympathy, agreed to give her a wedding. What I know is that after Ethan and Zara get married, she will say it was a misdiagnosis, and then she will rightfully become Mrs. Shin and enjoy her life." I responded with an indifferent "Oh, what does this have to do with me? How could it not be related? Zara used underhanded tactics to deceive Ethan, she broke up your marriage with him, don't you want to take revenge on her? I can join forces with you. I have no interest in taking revenge on Ethan." I rejected Mike. He was utterly disappointed, thinking I would be furious with Ethan and Zara. He thought I would become his strong ally in revenge, he was overthinking it. It takes effort to hate someone. I had already let go of everything with Ethan when I agreed to have the child aborted and to get a divorce. I don't hate him, after all, the opposite of love is hate. Why should I waste my precious youth hating a man who isn't worth it? Mike left in disappointment, and I could tell he wouldn't give up easily. But what he chooses to do is none of my concern. On the way home after having hot pot, the agent called me to say that someone was interested in the marriage house and wanted to meet to discuss the price. I rushed to the agency, and the buyers were a young couple. The two of them looked very affectionate, holding hands the entire time. I sold the house after lowering the price by $2 million from the original amount. After signing the contract, I unblocked Ethan and called him to ask, "Do you still want your things from the wedding house?" He immediately replied, "Yes." "Then come over and pack them up right away." Ethan probably still thought I had feelings for him, and that asking him to come pick up his things was a way to see him again. Excitedly, he said, "Nancy, let's set a time." Ethan's delicate voice came through, "Ethan, we have to go for the wedding rehearsal this afternoon, you probably won't have time, so why not let Nancy send the things over?" After hearing Ethan's words, I immediately hung up the phone and blocked him again. Then I called the moving company to come and pack up Ethan's things and send them to him. Seeing the moving company pack up Ethan's belongings and take them away, I finally returned to where I was staying. In the evening, while I was having dinner, I received a call from an unknown number. I answered, and Ethan's voice came through, filled with anger, "Nancy, did you change the door code? By the way, why did you pack up the things from my wedding house and send them to me? The wedding house was sold, didn't your wife say on the phone to pack and send them to you?" "I just did as your wife asked, what's the problem?" Ethan's voice had changed pitch. "What? You sold the wedding house? Why did you sell the wedding house? Why didn't you discuss it with me?" I was getting impatient. "Mr. Ethan, the wedding house is mine, I can handle it however I want. What does it have to do with you? Don't you think you're being too controlling?" Ethan was at a loss for words after I pushed back for a while, and when he spoke again, his voice was sulky. "I remember you liked that house, right? You personally decorated it. Can't keep up the pretense of amnesia anymore?" I smiled meaningfully. "I don't like it anymore. By the way, Mr. Ethan, weren't you supposed to have amnesia? If that's the case, how do you know I decorated the house?" Ethan was left speechless by my question, and after a moment of silence, he said, I remember some things now. Nancy, can we meet?" "No need." I hung up the phone after I said that, and when Ethan called back, I directly blocked him. I blocked Ethan, yet he somehow found my address and wanted to see me. I ignored him, and Ethan kept ringing the doorbell, causing a commotion for quite a while. In the end, it was Zara who came to take Ethan away, and I sighed in relief, took a shower, and prepared to sleep. Who would have thought that before I could even lie down, Zara came looking for me again. "Nancy, I have something important to tell you." Annoyed, I opened the door, and Zara's beautiful face was twisted with resentment as she unleashed a tirade at me. "Nancy, you lost the bet, just accept it. Now that you're divorced, stop thinking of those petty tricks to seduce Ethan. Selling the house to provoke him? That's just childish, isn't it? Let me tell you, I will never let Ethan come back to you." I looked at Zara, utterly speechless, but she showed no sign of restraint. "You're no match for me. If you know what's good for you, get out of Jiangqing immediately, or I have plenty of ways to deal with you." Threatening me? I was born to be soft and not hard. I coldly asked Zara, "What do you plan to do to me?" "Your child is the next one." With no one around, Zara thought she had the upper hand and stopped pretending. "Nancy, the fact that Ethan is pretending to have amnesia was something I deliberately let you overhear. Look how foolish you are, you could have been a wealthy wife, but you couldn't keep your cool and ended up giving up your leverage by getting rid of the child. If you hadn't done that, you would still pose some threat to me, but now you don't threaten me at all. She truly is a woman with cunning that shouldn't be underestimated. She thinks I got rid of the child to spite Ethan. Little does she know, I wasn't doing it out of spite at all. Why should I keep a man who has never appreciated my 6 years of sincerity? Isn't it better to take half of the family fortune and find a new life for myself? Why should I let a scumbag and a cheap woman disgust me every day, making it impossible for me to live well? Zara probably still doesn't know that I took half of Ethan's fortune and is over there gloating and mocking me. I never intended to deal with her because she is so unaware of her own limits and so unrestrained. I replied to her, only those who laugh last are the winners. This is just the beginning. Don't you think you're getting too happy too soon? You don't realize that soon you'll see my true abilities. Zara said as she slapped her own face twice. She hit herself hard, and her face immediately swelled up, followed by a heart-wrenching scream, "Ah! It hurts so much." I watched Zara slap herself, pull her own hair, and then fall to the ground. A few minutes later, Ethan appeared quickly. Seeing Zara lying on the ground, he glared at me in anger. "How can you be so cruel? Nancy, Gigi is still sick. How can you do this to her?" Ethan truly cared about Zara, otherwise, with his intelligence, I think he would be able to see through such poor acting. He roared at me in anger for Zara, wishing he could kill me. I looked at Ethan's angry face and smiled indifferently. Seeing me smile, Ethan became even angrier. "Nancy, if anything happens to Gigi, I will never let you go." "What do you want to do to me?" I asked lightly. "Nancy, don't think that just because you're pregnant, I won't hurt you. Don't worry about me, you can take revenge for Zara anytime, anywhere. As long as you have the ability. You are simply stubborn." Ethan roared at me, and I looked at his face with disgust, not wanting to say another word as I closed the door. Ethan angrily banged on the door, wanting to argue with me, so I called the property manager, and in the end, security came to drive Ethan and Zara away. My good mood for sleeping was disturbed, so I opened the wine cabinet and took a few sips of red wine. Mike's call came in. "Nancy, with Zara scheming against you like this, are you still going to swallow your anger?" I originally wanted to let Zara go. After all, I have always believed that it takes two to tango. Someone with Ethan's intelligence couldn't possibly not doubt Zara. The reason he is being led around by the nose is because he loves her. Since they love each other so much, let them be locked in. I will support their love. Unfortunately, Zara seems to have misunderstood, thinking that I am someone she can bully and manipulate at will. She has come to provoke me time and again, making me uncomfortable. She is so eager for me to deal with her that it seems unfair if I don't oblige. I gently said into the phone, "I've changed my mind. Let's cooperate." On the day of Zara and Ethan's wedding, I packed my bags early in the morning and headed to the airport. The plane finally landed 48 hours later, and I turned on my phone as I walked out of the airport. The phone received countless calls, and many messages followed closely behind. I saw the live stream of the wedding sent by Mike. The wedding venue was beautifully decorated. Air-freighted roses and festive balloons. Zara and Ethan's wedding photos were beautifully enlarged and displayed at the hotel entrance. Zara, wearing a custom wedding dress, slowly walked down the red carpet, completing the wedding ceremony with Ethan under the guidance of the officiant. At the moment they exchanged rings and shared a passionate kiss, a sudden change appeared on the big screen. Zara was lying in the arms of a man whose face was unclear, her voice dripping with disdain. "What is Ethan? As long as the Shin family didn't go bankrupt, he was someone. Now that the Shin family is bankrupt, to me, he is just a loser. I will never be with a loser, no matter what." Ethan looked at Zara in disbelief as the big screen continued to play other footage of her. She was having a great time, fooling around with men of different races, the extent of which was shocking. Later came the scene where he bribed the doctor. "You help me issue a fake diagnosis report, and I'll pay you." Next was the conversation between Zara and her best friend. "Once I force Nancy out and make her divorce Ethan, I will become the legitimate Mrs. Ethan. At that point, I'll just say it was a misdiagnosis, and there will be no more Nancy." Ethan looked at the big screen with a pale face, while Zara panicked and shouted from the other side, "It's fake. All of it is fake. Someone is trying to harm me. Turn it off. Turn it off right now." The video from Mike was over, and he sent a text message. "Ethan is furious. he left Zara behind, and I guess Ethan is coming to find you. I ignored Mike and looked at another number that kept sending messages on my phone. Nancy, where are you? Nancy, please call me back. Nancy, I'm begging you. Nancy, my wedding with Zara doesn't count, she fell seriously ill and won't live for long. She wanted a wedding before she died, so I agreed to it. I don't love Zara, the person I love is you, Nancy. I've always loved you. I never expected Zara to be so despicable and shameless in deceiving me. Nancy, I was wrong, I shouldn't have been soft-hearted. It's all my fault. Can you please give me a call back? I'm begging you. Ethan sent a lot of messages explaining the reasons for his marriage to Zara. After reading the messages, I couldn't help but laugh. The person he likes is me? Not necessarily, right? He just likes how I take care of him like a servant, and he enjoys my pleasing behavior. Now, the white moonlight in his heart is such a despicable and shameless person. After being deceived, he finally realizes my worth. He thinks I am still the same foolish person who loves him, believing that a few kind words will bring us back together. I didn't know there was a kind of love in this world that would abandon a woman to give up one's wife and children. If such feelings can be called love, then this world is indeed devoid of true love. I continued to block Ethan's new number and embarked on a focused journey. 3 months later, I returned to Jiangqing, and almost as soon as I got home, Ethan rushed over. He knocked on the door for a long time, and I slowly finished my shower, changed my clothes, and opened the door. Ethan looked much thinner than before. When I opened the door, surprise flashed in his eyes. Nancy, do you know how long I've been looking for you? Why have you been avoiding me? Is the baby okay? Has it been hard on you? I quietly watched Ethan's rapid-fire questions. After he asked me several questions without receiving any answers, he finally looked at my belly. I had already been over 2 months along when I went to terminate the pregnancy, and it had been a month since our divorce, followed by 3 months of traveling. Anyone with a bit of common sense knows that at 6 months, my belly should not be flat but rather prominently rounded. Ethan's voice stopped abruptly, and his eyes fell on my flat belly. He looked at my belly, and then looked at my calm face. Where is the baby? Our child? Don't you think it's a little late to ask this question now? I replied indifferently. Nancy, what happened to the child? Tell me. The child is gone. Can't you see with your eyes? I raised an eyebrow and smiled. How could there be no child? Our child. You love children so much, and you even said you wanted to. I interrupted Ethan, my tone light. I do like children, but you don't, right? You know, pregnancy was a thing from before. We are divorced now, and you are going to marry someone else, so there's naturally no reason to keep this child. What? Are you sure the child is gone? Ethan's eyes turned red, and he stepped forward in a moment of loss to grab me, but I took a few steps back to avoid his hand. Ethan's face still bore an expression of disbelief. What do you mean? Nancy, what do you mean? Why are you doing this? I just looked at him with a cold smile. Is that all it takes for you to break down? Back when I was pregnant, did you and Zara think about the child while you were all lovey-dovey? What are you pretending for? Do you think you're some kind of drama major? Watching Ethan's performance was truly nauseating. I said flatly, the child is gone, do you have anything else to say? Impossible. You're lying to me, right? Nancy, you loved children so much, you were so looking forward to this child. How could you bear to get rid of her? How could you? I looked at the shocked Ethan and couldn't help but laugh. Did you not forget everything between us? How could you suddenly remember that I was looking forward to the child? Who told you? I just suddenly remembered. Ethan actually still wanted to lie to me. Nancy, I remembered. After you left, I slowly remembered everything. I smiled at Ethan, who was still lying. Is that so? Should I congratulate you on regaining your memory? Ethan looked at the smile on my face, his face turning a few shades paler. I'm sorry. It's all my fault. If I hadn't been deceived by her, our child wouldn't. Nancy, it's all my fault. Will you forgive me? No. I will not forgive you. I looked at Ethan, enunciating each word, you don't deserve it. Ethan looked at my cold expression and instinctively took a step back. I moved closer to him, do you know? The night you proposed divorce for Zara, the very night you were cooking for Zara in our marital home, I made up my mind to get rid of this child. The next morning, I went to the hospital, and after the surgery, I ran into you and Zara. At that time, you thought I was stalking you. How could this happen? How could you do this? Ethan remembered, he lost his composure. He always thought I would foolishly wait for him, never expecting my actions would be so swift. Ethan shouted at me with crimson eyes. That was our child, how could you be so heartless? It's just a child, you can't even remember the child's mother, so how could you care about an embryo? Moreover, after you get married, Zara will give you more children. No. Ethan's expression crumbled, and he actually accused me, Nancy, how could your heart be so malicious? I had no idea you were such a cruel person. Yes, I also didn't know I was such a cruel person. Thanks to you and your beloved Zara. Since it's come to this, I don't need to pretend with him, Ethan, isn't it tiring to act like you have amnesia? If you want a divorce, just tell me directly. Although I, Nancy, have been clingy, I'm not unreasonable. If you had just told me you wanted to marry Zara, I would have obliged. But you. I took a breath, deceiving me by pretending to have amnesia, don't you think that's low? What are you saying? Ethan's face turned pale. At this point, there's no need to keep pretending, right? I should thank Zara. If it weren't for Zara telling me you were faking it, I would have never suspected you. Ethan's face changed from white to red to green, that bitch Zara. How could she? I looked at Ethan's pale face, Ethan, after 3 years of marriage, although I was being unreasonable, you are truly shameless. I never expected that you had already been involved with Zara, you are really disgusting. Ethan actually still wanted to deny it, I didn't. I am completely innocent with her. Alright, I don't want to know what you and Zara are like, let's part ways and never see each other again. The fig leaf was torn away, and Ethan's expression was quite something. He seemed to perform a magic trick, Nancy, it was my fault before, I was bewitched. Give me a chance, and we can be together again, we will have children. Why do you think I would get back together with you? Would I still have children for you? Am I such a foolish person, Nancy? Everything was laid bare, and Ethan left in despair. He thought he could feign deep feelings and that I would turn back, not knowing that I was already fully aware of his situation. The reason Ethan came to find me was simply because the company was in trouble. At first, he thought I would never be willing to leave him, he believed that since I was carrying his child, I would reconcile with him for the sake of the child. Zara did deceive him, but Ethan himself was unclear about his own feelings. He truly loved Zara. Therefore, Zara's wish was also his wish, he wanted to hold the wedding of his dreams with the woman he loved most, his first love. It fulfilled Zara's wish and also realized his long-held desire. His intense desire for that wedding led him to abandon his wife and children, causing him to neglect the company. When I divorced him, I forcefully took half of the company's assets, which resulted in cash flow problems for the company. Ethan was too busy being affectionate with Zara, too busy fulfilling both Zara's and his own deep-seated wishes, that he had no time to manage the company. After such a scandal at the wedding, he had already lost all faith in the business world. Partner companies avoided him like the plague, and with the added issue of a cash shortage, the company soon couldn't hold on any longer. Ethan's urgent plea to come to me, lowering himself to seek my help, was not out of love for me. It was merely because of the cash I had taken away. He thought that by saying a few sentimental words, I would once again unhesitatingly help him. How naive. To prevent Ethan from pestering me, I left for Haishur overnight. 2 years later, I attended a cocktail party and saw Ethan. The once glorious man looked 10 years older, with gray at his temples, no longer the spirited person he used to be. He was holding a wine glass, standing in front of the evening's host, Ace, with a flattering smile, bowing and scraping as he sought investment. Ace did not give Ethan any face, simply saying that he needed to consult his wife before making a decision. It was well known that Ace had gotten married a year ago, with a low-key wedding, and his wife had always remained in the shadows. Disappointment flashed in Ethan's eyes as he watched Ace leave. He tried to seek cooperation from the heads of several major companies, but was rejected without exception. Then, all alone, Ethan saw me. Ethan's eyes lit up, and he actually walked over to me with a glass in hand. "Nancy, how are you?" "Good." I was brief with my words. "I've been looking for you. I really regret it over the past 2 years. Nancy, can you give me a chance? I truly want to atone." Before Ethan finished speaking, he reached out and held my hand. "Wife, who is this?" "An acquaintance I met before," I answered calmly. Ethan's gaze fell on my husband Ace, making it hard to imagine the relationship I had with Ace. He looked at Ace tenderly as he placed his hand on my waist and brought me a glass of juice. Watching Ace indulgently ask me, "Has the child been giving you a hard time?" The light in Ethan's eyes faded, and he left with his head down. "No one will wait for you in the same place." I don't believe Ethan wouldn't understand this. Once, I fought for him out of gratitude and love, but now when I see him, I can only feel a sense of regret. Of course, there is still gratitude for his infidelity, gratitude for his betrayal. It is because of his letting go that I found my true love. I truly thank him from the bottom of my heart.